Hi. Hi, 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 hi. Check 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4. Check 1 2 1 2. Hold on. 3 4. How's this sound? 1 2 1 2. Hold on. 3 4. Just adjusting sounds. How's this sound? Better or worse? Turn me up a little bit. Turn down the music. How are we now? Testing. The community is here. Are you live? You are here. You are with me. We're good. We're ready to go. I do declare. That does sound better. All right, then. Well, have a good night, everybody. I'm just messing with you. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Assemble Live. I don't need these. It's unnecessary. Hi. Acknowledge me. I got a haircut today, too, by the way, for you guys. What's this thing doing? What's this doing? It's all weird. How are we? Where'd my chat go? There you are. Have I eaten? Have I eaten? That's very considerate. I have eaten. Had a lovely dinner with family. We did some good stuff. Nice haircut. Thank you very much. Acknowledge your tribal chief. Acknowledge him. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. I'm going to start recording. What's up, everybody, and welcome to Assemble Show Live here on youtube.com/Assemble Show. And today, we are doing our WWE Royal, I almost said 2K22. We do our WWE Royal Rumble predictions. It's going to be a good show because we are going to go through these matches. We got about an hour together, so we're going to go through everything top to bottom. And we are going to talk about everything with this card. It's an interesting one. I've been dying to do predictions with everybody here in the community because it's an interesting pay-per-view, isn't it? You've got the Rumble itself. You got some key matches in here. Men's side, women's side, the Rumble matches themselves and the title matches are very, very interesting. Before we get into everything, I've got to make sure that we're working here. Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at technology working for old Matt here. It's all good in the hood. What I don't have is a chat open. So you guys give Matt a second here. Mind your business. And let Matt just set a thing or two up. I have had to redo my OBS a bunch of times, which is always fun. So we'll just hang out and chill for a minute. It's okay. I'll be one moment, please. Your call is important to us. In the meantime, let me know if you guys have seen the latest episodes of Assemble. I did more today. We're doing one almost every day. There were no superstar reveals today. The hell? I was very disappointed by that. I was hoping we would get one. Especially yesterday. Yesterday was Sasha Banks' birthday. And then it didn't do that? It's all very perplexing. I don't understand, man. I'm trying to figure it out as we go. But hey, we are here. We are live. We're good to go. So let me add some shenanigans in here. Browser. And let me see what I can do here. This is for an alert of some sort. Alert box. All right. Trying to test stuff here. I apologize. All right, that worked. That's in a little alert box for Matt. Test a subscriber. All right, I tested a subscriber. The subscriber thingy works. That's cool. Now we just got to get our chat box in here, and Matt can multitask here. It's wheeling and dealing, making magic happen. Live here on the fly. It's fine. What am I looking for? I'm looking for chat. Box, I wish I could be more... Andrew Games has become a universe member. My goodness, Andrew. What are you doing? You're amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Incredible. Let me add the chat here to the window. We're going to get started. I apologize, but I don't want to waste anybody's time. People like Andrew have got stuff to do. He's moving. He's jipping and jiving. He's got nothing, but he's got no time. He's like, this is ridiculous. This man says Royal Rumble, and now I'm watching this man just diddle himself on his YouTube with his chat boxes. And to that I say, you are correct. There we go. All right, my life makes sense again. But I'm going to copy this. See where Matt is? Matt is doing silly things in here. Copy that in there. There we go. See, now I got a chat box in there. Give me that full screen. Give me this thing. Get my notifications up here too. Lock it in, guys. We're locking it in, and we're good to go. All right, I'm fine. Everything makes sense again. What's your opinion on Jeff Hardy? Jeff Hardy is a fantastic wrestler. I miss him. I hope he's doing well. I hope for good things. Aiden, hi. Good to see you. Andrew Games, you got to get going. All right. Well, Andrew Games, he's in a rush, guys. So let's do this. WWE Royal Rumble. Man, I'm tired. Let's talk first about... This is very tricky. So we're going to start things off with Brock and Lashley. Bobby Lashley. Rachel Marshall has become a universe member. Rachel, good to see you. Thank you so much. Let's talk about Brock Lesnar for a minute. Let's talk about Bobby Lashley. Let's talk about this match. Very interested to see what could happen out of this, because this match itself, it could do a lot of Destiny Scott. Hi, thanks for subscribing. This match could be very, very interesting. And I really don't know what they can do, but let me know in the chat. What do you think they are going to do with Lashley and Brock? To me, there's a lot at stake here. I think that this match opens up the Rumble. I can see it actually opening up the Rumble. And then in my head, I'm kind of like, Lashley wins. You put the title on Bobby Lashley, you get him to main event one of the nights, or maybe not main event. I would want one of the women's matches to main event WrestleMania. But let's just say Bobby Lashley wins his Rumble title match against Brock. He wins this thing. I can see them going off, and we'll park Brock for a second because there's a ton to unravel here. This is the fun part about the Rumble, everybody, because it's speculation time. If Lashley wins, I can see him going easiest booking, fatal four-way match between him, Big E, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins. You have built-in stories there, and live event tours that are going on right now with WWE are still advertising that fatal four-way match between those four guys. Easiest booking, in my opinion, is it's going to be Lashley, fatal four-way, WrestleMania. Great way to open up WrestleMania. And I think out of that Mania match, Seth Rollins would win the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. That sets Seth off, because at day one, it was reported that Seth was originally supposed to win the day one pay-per-view match and win the title. I think they still get there, but I think that, yes, I did, 007, I got a haircut today. I think that Lashley, if he does win at the Rumble, he drops it at Mania to Seth, and then you could have Seth and Kevin Owens, Seth against everybody, and you're good to go for several months. That's my prediction. What do you guys think about Lashley winning or not winning against Brock? Here's the other side of this, though. Brock in this match. Very, very curious what they could do, because I think ultimately you are trying to get to the match between Brock and Roman. And I think you need to get to that match. But I don't know if you do it title for title. I don't know if you do a title unification match. I'm good for a unification match. I think it'd be killer. However, I think that you're losing out as if you're WWE by having unification match. You put both titles in one match. Yeah, it's mega. It's massive. It's a main event of main events. However, what are you going to do with a Lashley and a Big E and Seth and Kevin Owens on the Raw side of things? They're not fighting over anything. Then you have to give personal stories. And I think even Seth versus Kevin Owens, you could easily do. But Big E is just gone. Then what does Bobby Lashley do? So this is where I think they're not going to do a unification match. I do believe that you are going to get... My pick, guys, is that Lashley wins, but it's going to be shenanigans. I don't think it's a very clean win at all, the Royal Rumble. I think you could kick off the Rumble with this match. I think Brock drops the title. Maybe it's by the Bloodline, and the Bloodline interferes and takes him out. But I think, I think that if Brock drops it, maybe Heyman turns on Brock again. Because I remember that months ago it was being reported that Heyman did an interview and he said that for this storyline, what they're telling with Roman and Brock, and Roman specifically, is that hi Graham, it's that it's not, people are not going to be able to predict like the twists and turns that they're going to take with this thing. So that has me excited and very intrigued that they could actually do it where Brock loses, and you don't want to make Brock look weak. You can't have him look weak if he's going to go into Mania and take out Roman. But what you can do is screw Brock, and you can screw him by having Heyman double cross him somehow, get the Bloodline involved, get tons of interference, and yeah, they could actually just have Brock lose the title and get screwed. If he gets royally screwed out of this thing, gets in the Hurt Lock, because the other thing, guys, is that Brock has been bashing Bobby Lashley and not letting, hi Salt, they're not getting Bobby Lashley over, in my opinion. And it's almost by design. Brock just keeps making fun of Lashley. He keeps just putting him down. And I feel like Lashley hasn't gotten the upper hand at all in this build. And I think they almost need to surprise them by having Lashley just get a win in 10 minutes. All hell breaks loose with Bloodline, Roman, Paul Heyman, and they screw him out of his title. And thinking that, okay, now Brock can't get into the Royal Rumble, or Brock loses his title and he loses everything. And then all you need to do later in the night is, in my opinion, is you simply need Brock to go into like knock on Vince McMahon's office door, and then everybody knows that it's going to lead to Brock getting into the Rumble. And then you have Brock win the Rumble. So that's a lot. Let me know in the chat right now, what do you guys think? But that is my prediction for basically the men's Rumble match and the Brock Bobby Lashley match, because there's so much going on in that match and in that stipulation. And that's really cool though, because that gives us a ton of intrigue and a ton of things to work with here. But man, Landon, you gotta go. Landon, thank you so much for being supportive, by the way, in the chat for in the comment section and everything. You've been awesome. I've seen you in there, my friend. You've been doing the typing, you've been commenting Matt's stuff. That's awesome. You guys are all great. With the Rumble match itself, the men's side of it, I think there's a couple of standouts that happen. So if Brock wins, let's just assume for a second that Brock wins this thing. When it comes to the men's side, I'm very intrigued of what they're going to do and how they're going to make this thing. It's going to be a lot of fun. And a couple of standouts, I think, in this Rumble match, they're doing a good job for making smaller stories, I think, this year for the Rumble, for some of them. Ryan Robinson, Women's Royal Rumble for the main event. I hope so. I do. I hope that they can make it the Women's Royal Rumble is going to be the main event. But I think there's more intrigue this year, Ryan, with the Men's Rumble, but that's just me. But don't get me wrong. If they put the Women's on last, then I'm totally cool with it. I think they're doing a good job with actually having the smaller stories going on in this thing. And just by looking at the Royal Rumble on the men's side for what we know, because there's probably legends and Jeff Jarrett's going to show up or something. But you have RK Bro that are in there. You could easily have Randy turn on Riddle, which I hope they don't, because even what they're doing with Alpha Academy, I am loving. Like, get them to Mania. You can keep going all the way to SummerSlam, in my opinion, with RK Bro. But I thought they would maybe do a turn, but it's getting so over. And them versus Alpha Academy is like, did you guys see Raw the other night? That was the segment of the night for me. I was in love with that, and Randy was having fun, and it was fun. Oof boy, hi. I think that, so I don't want to see RK Bro break up, but there's intrigue there, right? There's a potential. You could have Riddle, Chris Starr saying it. You could have Riddle turn on Randy. You could do something really cool, but I think it's still too early for them. I'd like to see the Street Profits break up. Montez Ford, singles run, make him a heel, have him break off, have him toss his partner there and go off on his own. And I think you could make a megastar out of that, and you've got so much mileage. I think that you could do The Mysterios is great. That one's just fun. You're going to have Dom try and eliminate Ray and vice versa. Those two are going to be in the Rumble for a while, I think, and they're going to try to just keep eliminating each other. But that's a fun element that they're going to do here. Kevin Owens is going to be in there. He's going to go far, probably deep in the Rumble. Sami Zayn is probably going to give us hijinks in the Rumble itself and get eliminated probably by Johnny Knoxville. Omos we haven't seen on TV for a little while. I think Omos is the big candidate. He's going to have this big coming out party of dominating the Royal Rumble with eliminations. If WWE's serious about him and a singles push, I think you need Omos to play the giant, and he needs to eliminate a ton of people. The other one that I see doing a ton in the Rumble is AJ Styles, because him and Omos recently broke up. They scrapped their entire storyline. They separated each other completely, and they moved on. And I think that AJ is going to have, he's not going to win it, but I think he's going to have a gigantic run in the Rumble coming out early, like 10. And he's going to go all the way to Final 4, Final 6. That's me, and I think that AJ is probably going to pull it off because he's great. What's his name? Shoot, I'm blanking. Who is... I'm just looking at the rundown of the card right now. There's somebody that I think also is going to do... Corbin's in it. He's not going to do much of anything. Austin Theory is the one I'm thinking of. I think Austin Theory is going to be very late. Him and AJ had a great match on Raw. And I think Austin Theory, the chosen one of Vince McMahon, I think he has backstage segment with Vince at the Rumble. And then you're going to get Austin Theory having a showcase. And he's going to get over in the Rumble. He's already over, but they want to be able to get him in there. And again, I think Brock is going to win the thing. So yeah, I think for the men's Rumble, everybody, I think Brock wins, and somehow Brock is getting into that Rumble one way or another, and he comes in at number 28 or number 30. For surprises for the men's Rumble, what do you all think? Let me know in the chat right now, but what do you guys think of a Braun Strowman making a return? I don't see Bray Wyatt. I think Bray is done with WWE. Cookie Rivera says, eliminated by Austin Theory, eliminated by Finn Balor. Finn Balor is an interesting case, isn't he? He's just kind of gone, and it's really too bad. I want Ricochet to win. I want Ricochet to do something. I want Ricochet to be on my TV more. Moose, yep, from Impact. Ashton, I am totally with you. Oh, sorry. John was saying that. Edge will be in the match. Yeah, he'll finish up his match. We'll talk about Edge in a minute. You guys are right. King Carter, yeah. I think there's a big voting here for Moose. I'd love to see Moose make an entrance. I think he's somebody that WWE would be looking at, or have looked at, I think, even by reports in the past of, like, get him over there. Kevin King makes a very good point, guys, in the chat. Cody Rhodes. You could have Cody Rhodes, because based off of his promo he did after Dynamite last night, Cody Rhodes is a man without a contract and a handshake deal, and he's creating stir out there of, like, the possibility that he shows up at the Royal Rumble. I think you could totally get Cody Rhodes in the Royal Rumble. And just, it's a very weird thing right now, and this is what's making this Rumble very interesting. I think Cody is I won't be shocked, but I will be surprised. Samuel Cleveland, subscribe. Thank you so much. Hi. Thanks for being here. Too sweet, my friend. Sean Jaggers, how you doing? I don't know if John Moxley, I doubt it. I really do doubt it. But they did mention him on TV a bunch of times, so you might get Mox. You get Mox and Seth in the ring in the Rumble. It's a possibility. Cody, Braun, Mox is to me behind that, all of that. Jericho I put up there a little bit higher than, like, Mox and even Cody Rhodes. I can see Jericho being there. Rachel says Braun. Yeah, I think Braun is one of my biggest ones you could pick. Flurry says John Cena. I mean, John Cena is doing Peacemaker right now, right, with that series. It's a good way to promote it. John could come back and just get a big pop in the Rumble, but you'd want to then do something with him at WrestleMania, unless they have it lined up, and then you could easily run that story. MJF would be awesome. So yeah, my surprise picks, I'd say Moose is a great one. Braun is a very likely one. I think people will pop for Braun just to have that music play, and you just get Braun. And he's got the new look, right? He's shaving down, he's bald, he's jacked. I think Braun could get in there, get back into WWE, because I do think that he is somebody that WWE made a mistake letting go, in my opinion. His best years were not behind him, and he's a big attraction, but they could redo him. You can give Braun another shot. We'll see. Hulk Hogan, brother. Hard to do. Octavia Diamond subscribed. Hi. Hi, Octavia. Too sweet for you, my friend. Way to go. Way to join the Assemble community, everybody. Thank you so much for being here, by the way. Thank you for joining the show. We're going to get into the rest of our predictions in just a second because we still have some matches to talk about. We got the Universal Championship, Roman Reigns versus Seth freaking Rollins. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about Becky Lynch versus Doudrop, Edge and Beth versus Miz and Maurice, and the Women's Royal Rumble match. We are going to do all of this tonight. I'm excited. John Morrison as a return is an interesting pick. I am not opposed to Johnny Momo, Johnny Drip Drip, doing something. That is incredible. I would love to see it. If you guys are new to the show and if you want to, go head over to, the channel and check out what else we have, because we have WWE 2K coverage here on the channel every day of the week, it feels like. But yeah, check out more shows that we've got going on. Guys, I'll have all the 2K coverage for us. I'm excited for the game. I know we lack gameplay. I understand that. It's a touchy subject. And if you did watch today's episode talking about My Rise, the career mode, I'm excited for that. We got some new info on that, so if you guys want to check that one out, it's real nice. And there's an Easter egg at the very end because you all like to say I look kind of like LA Knight. So if you watch the episode from today, there's an Easter egg in there towards the end, but you got to watch it to find out. Aram, hi, too sweet, my friend. Let's get into more of the Royal Rumble predictions. Let's do this. Where's my screens? Where are my screens at? Let's do this. Landaws, subscribe. Thank you so much. Guys, you've been killing it, by the way. Let's talk about you for a second. Hold on here. I know that Emilio is in there and he's like, I want to get going with this. We got people in here that are subscribing. They're like, I want to do Rumble predictions. We're going to get into all this, but we're going to take 1 second. We're going to shout out you, the community. We're going to shout out the Assemble community because you know why? Because you guys are too fantastic. You're too flipping damn fantastic. You've been crushing numbers for Matt. You've been engaged. You're positive. You're engaging with the community. You guys are leaving out all of your noise. You're commenting. I see all your fingers in there. You see when Matt does a little heart on your comment on the show and the episodes? I read it. I'm not just heart nothing. I sit there and I read everything. So yeah, guys like Landon, Kicking It with Leo, Chris Starr, Domingos, all of you guys are doing fantastic. All my regulars too. Donovan, I do see you, my friend. Thank you all. Thank you guys for supporting us. This is all I want to do. Let's talk more matches. Let's talk about Edge. Let's talk about this match. We've got hello. Let's talk Miz and Maurice. No, I don't want to do that. I'm going to get copyright stricken. Tiny just subscribed. Thank you so much. Get out of here. I don't want to get that. I'm going to get copyright stricken. Where's the Royal Rumble match? Predictions. That's ridiculous. Come on. Preview. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Look at this. Look at these scary. Brian Vlogs, WWE, Michael Jackson, and more just subscribed. You guys are insane. Thank you so much. Too sweet to everybody. Way to go. Edge, Beth Phoenix making a return. Miz, Maurice, F you, Maurice. Now, she's going to be in this match too. It's tag team, and this could have been easily a WrestleMania match, right? You get the gimmicked up tag team of the couples going at it, but these grizzled old vets and Beth Phoenix, coconut slamming thighs, according to Edge. And Edge, rated R superstar, old grizzled Edge, Viking, going after this guy wearing Michael de Miez, wearing his tie around his head still for the last 10 years. I'm just Edge and Beth win. Like, what do you think? Like, seriously, is this going to be any other way? It's been a fun feud. It's been fun. They had the one-on-one. Now they brought, their partners into it. It's been fun. But here's the thing. We assume, like Emilio, I see you. You're like, easy. Beth and Edge, easy. 9 minutes, let's go. WWE roll up for the win. It's an easy prediction. But the question I always have is, what are we going to do next? What are we going to do? You got the Elimination Chamber. They got to go to Saudi Arabia for this thing. Nah. Then you get the WrestleMania. Are you going to have a tag team match again? Could you do... I don't even know who you do. Is there any other married couples out there they could fight with? Because it's a fun thing they're doing. But I don't think they're going to bring anything else into this unless they bring the kids in, and that's not happening. Fortnite, bro, hello. Good to see you back. You made it back. You found the door to Matt's house and Matt's nook. Do you think kicking with Leo, guys, makes a great prediction? Edge versus AJ Styles at Mania. I like that a lot. I was going to say, what are you going to do with them? Oh, and I forgot a prediction. Ryan, you just reminded me. Men's Royal Rumble. Other prediction for someone to show up. And some of you guys made it this. I missed to say this. Corey Graves. I 100% think Corey Graves is going to... Music's going to hit at number 20. And Corey Graves is going to take off. Music's going to play. People aren't going to know whose music that is. They don't know what's going on. And then Corey Graves stands up and he takes his headset off and he undoes his shirt and all this crap and he gets in the ring. And people are going to go bonkers. Corey Graves, I think so. So let's move on. Edge, Beth winning. And then I think it's going to be Super Chat. Rachel donated Super Chat. Oh, thank you so much. You're fantastic. Yeah, and I think that then Edge versus AJ is great. Beth could do something. I don't know. She needs to be in a high-profile match. They're going to want to be able to do something else with Beth Phoenix at WrestleMania. Multi-woman match. Maybe her and Natalya team up to go after the tag titles. They could do that. The two of them are best friends. But I'll see something else that would happen there. Not too sure. But it'll be an interesting one. Let's move on to the preview of another match that I think is almost a slam dunk, you guys. And we have Becky Lynch, Big Time Bex, versus Doudrop. Official Jason JV, hi, good to see you. Welcome. Doudrop and Becky Lynch. I'll say this. I think Doudrop is doing fantastic work, and I think WWE is really behind her. Acknowledge me, Roman Reigns. I think that they are behind her, and rightfully so. I think she's done amazing work. She's stepped up. She's taking on like really strong, dominant heel role that I think the women's division really, really needs. We've had like Nia Jax in the past play this role, but it never clicked for me with Nia Jax. Doudrop, it's starting to really work. She's getting out of the gimmicky, silly role. And I think that Misty Barrett, hi, they're getting out of the silly role with Doudrop and really moving into more of a serious, dominant role. I would love her to pick up more wins. Becky Lynch, I think, is... Billy Martin, I'm great. I hope you're good. Becky Lynch, I think, is going over. Becky's going to Mania because it's going to be very interesting what we get at WrestleMania. Becky retains probably in 10, 15 minutes. I think Becky is going to weasel her way out of a win, holding on to the ropes, something distracted referee, something's going to happen where Doudrop gets screwed. This is an interesting dynamic too, because Doudrop is being very like aggressive. Becky's doing kind of the cowardly stuff. The promos back and forth are really good, but Lynch wins. Doudrop, I think this is where, guys, like I've also said too, like you have a situation like Liv Morgan and you have Doudrop as well in this position. They lose to Becky and it's then what? Rhea Ripley as well, like hasn't been able to do much. She's in this thing with Nikki ASH. I want there to be a mid-card women's title. I want the women's intercontinental title, whatever you want. But I want that mid-card title because I want somebody like Rhea Ripley or Doudrop or Liv Morgan to get their hands on a mid-card title that they could go either brand to brand or it's on a single brand. But I would love them to have that because it gives them one more thing as a storyline to work towards. And then you have the big time champions, you know, your Becky Lynch and your Charlottes. So I think that, we're going to have Becky's going to win. But I wish they could do more with Doudrop. And maybe she'll have a big moment, big win at Mania. Because then even after this, we get into the chamber. There'll probably be a women's chamber match. And then I'm wondering if there's going to be a women's chamber match for a number one contender spot. They could do something cool there. But I'd like them to do more with that. Let's find out what's going to happen next. The next one then, let's talk then about the women's Royal Rumble match. Now, WWE is actually doing something really nice here where they're actually, they brought in a lot of legends. They announced Lita. They brought Lita in. She's going to be probably doing a big prominent role now through to WrestleMania and getting a big Mania match. Maybe her versus Beth to kind of do the Legends match. That could be pretty cool. Do Lita versus Beth Phoenix and have Trish Stratus be the special referee. It'd just be fun. And there's a lot of history between all three of them. You could do something cool like that at Mania. Okay, let me know in the chat. I know Kelly is a big win for everybody here. Alicia Fox is also a big contender for everybody for a return. Shout out to Alicia Fox. Love to see her. Who do you guys have? Let me know in the chat right now. Who do you have as surprises? Yeah, let's go with surprises. A lot of people say Ronda. Right now, Ronda is out there in the universe that she's coming in at the Royal Rumble. That makes it very interesting. We know that Charlotte is in the Women's Royal Rumble match, and she's saying she's going to win it and then decide who's going to face her. So, Sasha Banks can make her return. I think Bayley is due to return. Bayley would be fantastic to then challenge Charlotte, because we'll talk about Ronda in a second. Mickie James, shout out to Mickie James and WWE for actually bringing her in to do something really cool here. Mickie's spot in the Rumble is probably going to go bananas just for what it means. She'll get eliminated, I'm sure, but if she walks out with that TNA Women's Championship around her waist out there, it's a huge moment for wrestling fans. The Bellas will be in there. Probably going to have something at WrestleMania, which is okay. Rhea Ripley, I think, is going to be a standout in the Rumble. I think Rhea is going to go very, very, very far. I know Charlotte is huge on her. So I think that Rhea is going to go very far in that. Liv Morgan. Bianca has always been my odds-on favorite to just win the whole thing. The problem I have is what's coming up, which is Ronda Rousey. Because do you go with the odds-on favorite of like Bianca winning to then say, finally get the challenge, have the one-on-one with Becky Lynch, and have that moment again at WrestleMania in a main event and take the title off Becky? It's the story that they've been telling for like this whole time. But then you have the other story in there of Charlotte saying that, like, you know, I'm going to win the thing and then decide who's challenging with me. What if Charlotte does win? Then Charlotte's going to stand there, and then do you bring out Ronda Rousey? And this year do Ronda versus Charlotte? That's not really the match people want, though. They want Charlotte versus Ronda, or excuse me, if they want Becky versus Ronda, if Ronda is to come back at the Rumble, then what do you do with Bianca? Do you do a triple threat? Bianca and Ronda and Becky? I don't think you want a triple threat. I think you want, if you're going to have Ronda come in to the Rumble and she's there for Mania, you're going to want Ronda Rousey to win this thing. But that's what throws so much of this off, and that's what is always usually the problem when it comes to WWE, is that something like this happens where let's just assume that Ronda Rousey is going to be in the Royal Rumble. They go into that and they're like, she's got to win, and we got to do the match. Danny says, I wouldn't Charlotte versus Ronda Mania. The thing with Becky is that she really want her to face Bianca. Same. John Cena, we did the men's Royal Rumble. I'm going to go down with Brock. Ooh, Emilio's good pick is that Lita eliminates Charlotte. I like that because then you could actually set that up. And that could be the match that you get at Mania. Charlotte versus Lita, and maybe Charlotte retains. I wouldn't mind that. Oh, Kason says, Alexa Bliss, and we have Naomi in there. Asuka, you guys mentioned earlier. Those are all very good picks. Chat is going crazy right now, by the way. Paige. And Paige was the other one. Thank you, guys. Paige was the other one that I was thinking of. But this is the thing. This is what's exciting. But this is where it gets really messy. Paige could be in the Royal Rumble, which I think is a very good chance. Kairi Sane would be an excellent pick as well. Do you put Paige in there just for a high spot? What if you do and get eliminated? Maybe she does. VJC, good to see you. Too sweet, my friend. You could have Becky versus Bianca match. Sorry, I'm just trying to go back in the chat for a second. You guys are flowing with ideas. I love it. Man, you guys have got great picks here. Sorry, VJC. I was trying to find your point you were making. Your Robert M. 1989 subscribed. Thanks, buddy. Too sweet to you, my friend. Right across the screen. Good for you. Thanks for joining the community. There's so many picks in here, guys, but even for returning, you could do Asuka versus Charlotte. We also have Chamber. Remember this. So if they wanted to do a women's Chamber match and the winner becomes number one contender for whichever title, let's say Ronda wins. You can still do a lot here. Let's say Ronda comes in, Ronda wins. Ronda goes and fights Becky Mania. That's a blockbuster match. The one-on-one match we didn't get. And Ronda comes in and says, I want to win my title back. And Becky has that Conor McGregor thing going on, being big-time Bex. And she got the massive ego. It's almost roles reversed. People will start to hate on Becky, but kind of cheer for her. Ronda will get a huge pop. And if they play her right, they can make her be a big babyface going into Mania if they do it right. But that's a blockbuster Mania match to have the one-on-one. You can get to Elimination Chamber when the women's side, and you can still put in a couple of big contenders. You could put in a Paige, Rhea Ripley, Bianca, Asuka. Who else could you put in there? Even if you get into a couple of other women, right? Shayna Baszler. But you could do that type of match. Lita, you could do that type of match at Elimination Chamber, and the winner is the number one contender for that title, probably the SmackDown title, and Bayley. You could put them in there, and then, yeah, you could, and Bliss, sorry guys, Aiden's right, and Alexa Bliss. I think you could do that at a Chamber match to determine Charlotte's number one contender, and then maybe Bayley versus Charlotte, Asuka versus Charlotte. I'd like to see that again. Or a multi-woman match. But yeah, it's going to be really... Ooh, yeah, Danny Spears says Ronda and Shayna face off at the Rumble, and imagine that. That's a cool moment. What do we think we're going to happen with Naomi? I think Naomi's match is not going to happen on SmackDown. And I think they're just going to keep stretching it out until they get to Mania. I think she gets eliminated in the Royal Rumble match itself, and she gets screwed over. And put Sonya Deville, give Sonya more heat. Sonya will be one of the refs on the outside or something. And she'll claim that Naomi's feet touched the floor and got eliminated. That's my pick for that. So again, guys, like the men's Rumble, the women's Rumble is really interesting. And I think right now, like, if Ronda Rousey was not in the conversation, I think Bianca was, for me, was my like odds-on favorite. Because it's just the story makes sense. The story makes so much sense. But you take Ronda and shove her in there, I think WWE changes their mind and they go in a different direction. But I still think you can get to really cool matches because you still have another month with Elimination Chamber. You can use SmackDown. You can use a bunch of stuff to be able to get to a number one contender for, say, Charlotte. But yeah, Kyrie's saying too, guys. Yeah. And yeah, again, you can have a Chamber match or something or a SmackDown tournament to get a number one contender or a gauntlet match, or I don't know, anything. But then you can get into like a lot of cool matches and get a lot of women featured in there. I'm excited either way. Let's move on. Thank you guys also for being here. All the new subscribers that you guys are hanging out here in the chat tonight, and all of my OG originals from the Assemble community. Guys, welcome to the community. You guys are awesome. Good chat. Good times. Alexa Bliss coming back too is just interesting to me. Because what's she going to do? And what's her character going to be? I'm curious as to what she's going to look like and what she's going to be presented as. What she's going to do in this whole thing. Let's talk about the next match that has me interested. Has you guys interested? Roman Reigns, Seth frickin' Rollins. Universal Championship. Seth Rollins on Raw, coming over, challenging Roman Reigns. I'll say this. I am loving Seth Rollins' character work in the last few months. The suits and everything really add to it. His maniacal craziness is great. It's just enough crazy where he's not bonkers. He's not lunatic fringe Dean Ambrose crazy. Mick Gamble is nonsense. Subscribe. Thank you so much, Mick. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. short and easy answer, I think Roman retains, and Roman carries that belt all the way to Mania. He's passed the record. He broke that. I think he goes all the way to Mania. You can throw in shenanigans. You can throw in Brock Lesnar. You can throw in Paul Heyman problems, like whatever you want. Seth beats Roman, but by cheating. See, if it's a straight one-on-one match, Seth's going to have to do like crazy amount of screw jobs on Roman in order to try to win. And I think even if it looks like they're going to want to keep Seth very strong in this, right? So I think you're going to do that by having Seth pull off, like you guys are saying, give him like a pedigree and 3 curb stomps and try to destroy Roman. Because Roman's gone on the edge before, right? Like he's had matches where you're like, oh my God, it looks like he's going to win. Kind of like Brock, how Brock feeds into a lot of guys too, where there's doubt. I think this is going to be a great match, number one. And I think you either get to, Seth's going to lose, but again, this is presumably before the men's Royal Rumble match will even happen. You can still put Seth in the Rumble. So I think you're going to get Roman retains. Seth's going to beat the tar out of him. Like Roman's not like really going to win, but he's going to walk away with the title. Maybe it's a no contest, a DQ or something. Thanks, Paris. Thanks for the haircut shout out. Yes, I feel fresh. I feel refreshed today, rejuvenated. Anthony Cascella. Hope I said that right. Just subscribe. Thank you, buddy. Too sweet. Yeah, Seth retains. Or Seth retains. I think Roman retains. But Seth is like, to me, he's verge on like the Joker in terms of his character work right now, where he's like so maniacal and crazy and like he's got everyone figured out before they do. I think they're going to do, again, the question is, what do you do with Seth? Guys, let me know in the chat. What do you do with Seth Rollins, assuming Roman Reigns is going to win? What do you do with Seth? Some of you guys in the chat were saying him versus Edge again. You could do that and have a proper WrestleMania match, but I think Edge versus AJ Styles is really intriguing as a straight up one-on-one. But again, I'm like, what do you do with Seth? This is where I do think you bounce him back over to Raw and he gets into the fatal four-way match, potential fatal four-way match for WWE title, Seth, Bobby Lashley, Kevin Owens, and Big E, and does that. That's what I think. That's an easy play. I just feel it's a little wonky story-wise to just jump him and say he lost to Roman. Okay, now just shove him into a fatal four-way and off he goes. They can do something at the Chamber, but you can do great stuff with him. Seth versus Owens, I agree. That's a great match. And they could do that just as a straight one-on-one, but I kind of want to see at this point. Mike Brennan, subscribe. Thank you very much, Mike. I think at this point, I want to see Seth with the title. I think he's been away from the title long enough. I think he's had enough WrestleManias where he's been without the title or defending it or chasing it. I think you need to go and have Seth like win the WWE title, however you get there. But yeah, Landon, no problem with the news on the game there. Surprise entrant for the men's Royal Rumble. Evan, you make a great point. Great question. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but I think Braun. We'll talk about the men's Royal Rumble now. But I do think Braun is going to be one of those. Or excuse me, we did talk about it already. My brain's dead. Yeah, I think it's going to be Braun as one of the big men. And maybe they're going to have Ciampa show up. That would be my guess. So yeah, guys. Brock goes over. I think Roman goes over. Becky Lynch wins. Edge and Beth win. For the men's Royal Rumble match, I say Brock wins. And the 30 women's Royal Rumble match, if Ronda Rousey's there, I say Ronda. If not, I say Bianca. Those are kind of my picks. But we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be very interesting. Saturday is the Royal Rumble. I'm very excited. I can't wait to see what they're going to do. But what are some of your picks, guys? It's an interesting Rumble. It's still like, you could do other things with, like Brock. Like, even with Brock, again, I think that you could still have your champion versus champion. Brock could just beat... What if Brock beats Lashley, right? What if that just happens? What if... The other one that I heard going around, or maybe it was just on other channels I was watching too, what if you do something really silly Brock wins against Lashley, enters the Royal Rumble because he still wants to get to Roman. That's still been the whole story. Brock wants to get his hands on Roman. So what if he beats Lashley? Then he enters himself in the Rumble. And he wins the Royal Rumble as WWE champion. And everyone's left saying, okay, now what? What does he do? And then at the end of the night, he can just point and say, I'm going after you, Roman. Then on Raw, do you have a situation where they're like, okay, Brock, you can't be WWE champion and win the Royal Rumble. You're breaking the rules. Emilio, careful, buddy. You're spamming. Don't do that. That's where you get dinged. Don't do that. But I think you could do that. Emilio. Don't go spamming my chat. I don't want that. Nobody wants that. I think, yeah, you could do... Brock could win everything. The match against Lashley, he could win the Rumble. And then maybe he has to drop his title. Maybe Adam Pearce has to force him and say, you got to drop the title. If you want to face Roman, we can't have a unification match. It's just not going to happen. And maybe Brock just turns around and says, fine. But then I feel like if you do that, you diminish the WWE championship. You can then have like a vacated WWE title. Brock can say, fine, I dropped the title. I'm fighting Roman and I'm going to beat Roman because that's what I want. So I'll drop this title and he'll forfeit it. And then it becomes vacated. Now you could do a number one contenders tournament at the Chamber or something like that. And then you could have Fatal 4-Way and you could still have Big E, Seth, Bobby Lashley, Kevin Owens for the vacated WWE championship, which makes it very intriguing. And then you could just give it to Seth. That's what I would do. Or you can give it back to Lashley. Dagger Clicks, good to see you. Thanks for subscribing, buddy. Too sweet. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot you could do there. You could do a tournament on Raw to determine like who's going to win, who's going to get entered into the brackets or who's moving on, right? If you do one-on-one matches, you could do one-on-one matches where you ultimately end up with the 4 guys that will be in the final match for the WrestleMania, and that can take you 6 weeks to do all of that, right? You could have a chamber match just to determine who's going to be the final spot in the men's WrestleMania title match. My problem is that you still diminish the value of the WWE Championship because Brock just, in this scenario, Brock just says, screw it, I'm out. And I want Roman. That makes the Roman title way bigger, but we already know it is, and we don't want that. Rusev. Yes, you could do Rusev, but he won't be there. Miro? I don't know. Just don't go spamming Rusev in my chat, guys. Who am I going to use first? Who am I going to use first in Landon in 2K22? Probably Roman or Seth. That's my guess. Simo, do you think Goldberg will return? Oh, yeah. Sorry, Judek Critic. Can't spam. Yeah, I think Roman or Seth will be my first one that I'll use in 2K22. Bray, yeah, VJC, Bray could be in the Rumble. It's just... I don't know, I see him doing other stuff. I just don't see him doing WWE anymore. I see him going over to movies and stuff. I mean, he could totally show up and it'd be cool, but I want to see him do different things. Goldberg, I don't know, because I feel like Goldberg is a distraction. Goldberg could show up 3 weeks before Mania and say, I want to have a match against whoever. Taker wins 30-man and Lita wins returning Brock against Lashley. Robert M. Could. Dean Ambrose. Shawn Michaels, yeah. He comes out of NXT, Aiden, and decides I'm not going to coach 2.0 anymore because Triple H is gone. So he goes in and enters himself in the Royal Rumble. Liv Morgan, A, and Big E. Kicking with Leo, yeah. Triple H. That's, you know what? That's what we want. We want the game Triple H to come out, and his music hits, and the crowd goes nuts, and he's like, I'm winning the whole thing for me. And then and then he beats Roman. Mr. McMahon. Oh, it's going to be a good one, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you so much for joining us here tonight. That's going to wrap us up for the show. We are covering the WWE Royal Rumble. Those are our predictions and a good chat with all of you. You guys are absolutely awesome for hanging out here, enjoying it. I love your picks. This year's Royal Rumble is interesting. Isn't that nice? It's not an Alberto Del Rio Royal Rumble or a Sheamus Royal Rumble. We've got some intrigue on the men's and the women's side. The title matches are interesting. There's a lot of intrigue when it comes into the actual Rumble. So I'm excited. I'm glad you guys are excited too. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. You guys, so many of you have already, and that's fantastic. I sincerely appreciate everybody hanging out. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers on the channel. I'm sincerely blown away. My jaw drops every day because someone else decided they wanted to watch and comment on the show. And yeah, my jaw kind of drops that there's like so many of you in here talking wrestling with me and hanging out. It's really, really cool. I really enjoy it. More streams coming for you guys. We'll do probably a post show for the Royal Rumble because it's coming up real quick. And yeah, enjoy your night. And more 2K22 news coming at you. So we're going to do all that stuff too.